Hello, Achievement House, and welcome to our first 2018-19 announcements. Me and Mr. Forward would love to really welcome you all back. Oh, Mr. Forward is not there. I can't believe Mr. Forward is not here. Where is Mr. Forward? We are going to have to go on a mission to look for Mr. Forward. All right, what am I going to do with him? I do want to tell you some important dates to remember. One of them being our parent workshop date, which is September 26th. Please try and get your parents to attend that wonderful workshop. And there is also no school October 8th. So those are very important dates for you to remember. Now, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Guy with our word of the month.
All right, this month's word of the month is going to be accountability, and you're going to be hearing more about that in your Future Ready sessions from some of your other teachers. I have one question for you. Do you have an accountability partner, somebody that checks in on you? If you don't, try to find somebody in your class who will be your accountability partner.
Thank you, Mr. Guy, for that word of the month. We will be learning more about accountability in your classes. And our weather person, Mr. Cass, you remember him from last year. He has the weather update for all of you today. Mr. Cass, please tell us what it's looking out there.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cass. We're here for the weather. We hear you loud and clear.
Mr. Cass, as always, thank you for that wonderful weather announcement. We all know what to wear tomorrow. So, we have a new teacher, our STEM teacher, Mrs. M. Wouldn't you like to know more about her? Well, here is your opportunity to learn more about her. This is an interview starting now.
Hello, Achievement House, and welcome to this interview with our newest teacher. This is Mrs. Mistauskas. She's going to be teaching computer science and STEM. Talking about STEM, can you remind us, what does STEM mean?
Well, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. But it's so much more than that. It's basically, you start with a problem and you're using creativity, innovation, imagination, and you're building something to try to solve that problem.
That sounds really fun. It sounds like it's going to require a lot of creativity on the students' part. Is that right?
That is correct.
Awesome. So, what brought you to STEM? There's so many things you could teach. Why this area?
Well, I actually started out wanting to be a meteorologist. That's actually what my background is in. And somewhere along the way, I realized I hated forecasting, and I was really bad at it. So, I went back for my master's in secondary education, started as high school physics, and kind of fell into STEM, and I love it. I never want to teach anything but STEM.
Well, we're glad that you found it. And it's interesting that you mentioned you have a background in meteorology. We might be in the market for a new meteorologist, if you wouldn't mind stepping in. We might need you there. Okay. Thank you. Well, so you're here, you're in a cyber environment, I'm assuming for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
How are you liking it? How are you fitting in with it?
I really like it. It's very different. It's taking a lot of rethinking on my part. I'm very used to doing very hands-on project-based activities, so I have lots of materials. So trying to rethink that and figure out how I can get those materials to the students. A little bit of a challenge, but I'm up for it.
Awesome, yes. That's a great attitude to have about it because cyber definitely has its challenges.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Too much pollen.
Who knew bees could sneeze, right? Well, that's a perfect segue. Segues are weird. Let's do our rapid fire round.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Rap or country music?
Neither.
Neither? Well, what do you like?
Beach Boys and the Beatles, the classics.
All right, classics. Cake or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Mountains or the beach?
Beach.
TV or movies?
Movies.
Kittens or puppies?
Puppy.
All right. 30%. Good score. And finally, my last question for you. What should we know about you here at Achievement House? What else can you share?
Well, I'm completely new to Pennsylvania. I grew up and lived in New Jersey until about 2 months ago. So far, I like it. And except I have to pump my own gas. I don't know. That's one thing I can't get used to.
Well, if that's the only thing that you don't like about Pennsylvania, it sounds like we're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Mrs. Mostauskas, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say I love Yoda.
You love Yoda? Well, Yoda too loves you, however they say it. Thank you very much. And students, you can catch Mrs. Mostauskas in the Future Ready sessions every day, but she won't be in it every day. You'll see her at least once a week at 12:30. So welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. Okay.
Well, I never knew that about Mrs. M. I'm so glad that we watched that interview together. And Mr. Ford and I would like to thank you all for joining our first morning announcements. Our next morning announcements will be in October. Mr. Forward, do you have anything to say? No, we still don't know where Mr. Forward is, but hopefully we will find Mr. Forward. Thank you all and have a great